Welcome back to this week's episode of Dating with Norah. Tonight is a late night episode session. This is my friend Nicolette. We have been friends for quite some time, and we're in Nashville right now, actually, for the Taylor Swift Eras Tour. And I'm very excited about it. And we have all our clothes spread all over the floor because we waited last minute to do absolutely everything. So I'm going to let Nicolette introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Nicolette. Do I just what do I say? I've never done this, clearly. She's new here.
She's new.
Get her out. Um, I
Just say what you want to say about yourself.
own too many cats. So, like this, and I will send you a cat.
How many cats do you have? 25.
Yeah, it's somewhere between 20 to 25 because I don't count some of them because they're not always there. Some of them are outside. Just a little background: when my husband and I moved into our home, the previous owners left their cat who was not fixed. We could not catch her. She had a ton of babies.
Period.
We caught all of them. We got them all fixed, but there's a lot of them now. So we have a cat colony. So yeah.
Okay, so for this week's episode, I thought we would talk about some bad first dates. On my Instagram, I asked you guys to send me some of your worst first date stories, and I got some replies that were very, very interesting. So I'm going to be reading some of those out, but also kind of talking about if Nicolette can remember some of our bad first dates with people. I don't know. Did you ever, when you were dating, did you like meet people naturally, or would you use like the dating apps, or how did you do that?
No, this is about to give away my age. I met people like either that I went to school with or like when I was in college, everyone worked at like the local Chick-fil-A, and that's how everyone met. And
Chick-fil-A.
it's rough out here. But yeah, that's how I would meet people, or I'd meet people like who was friends with a friend of a friend.
4.5K upvotes. Okay. So we're on the Reddit thread of Am I the Asshole? It says, Am I the asshole for accepting a free drink from a stranger while on a first date? Before reading it, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I need context because right now, no.
Okay, so it says, I have no idea if I'm in the wrong here. So I was texting back and forth with a guy for about a week that I met at a football game. We had seats next to each other, struck up a conversation, and exchanged numbers. Seemed pretty normal in text and definitely looking for a relationship. I was honest, I was up in the air for anything. Not that I didn't want a relationship, but I'm not actively seeking one out. So he invites me out to dinner at a nice bar, and I was going out with my friends later that night, so I figured it'd be cool pregame before I met up with my friends. Things are going pretty okay, and we just grabbed some wings to share and a charcuterie board along with a bottle of wine. When the waitress comes back, she has all the appetizers, the wine, and a shot. My date tells her we didn't order a shot, and she points over to a guy sitting at the bar and says he sent that over for me. My date then tells the waitress that we didn't need it and that he appreciated the offer, though. I'm not one to waste free alcohol, and I tell her that's fine, she can leave it. I was sitting facing the bar, and just as the waitress leaves, I'm grabbing the shot, and the guy who sent me the drink turns around and gives me an across the room cheers motion with his drink. I do the same, and I'm about to take the shot, and my date is like, Are you really going to accept a drink from another guy while we are on a date? I'll tell him it's just a drink and it's not a huge deal, and I don't even know the guy. Then I take the shot and keep on talking. He's not eating and barely interacting then. He just gets up and heads over to the bar. He goes up there, closes out the bill, and walks out the door, totally leaving me there. I tried to text him the next day, and he basically said I disregarded his feelings and that I was a bit of an asshole the way I brushed off what he was saying, and taking that shot was like a slap in the face. I really don't think I'm in the wrong. I didn't flirt with the guy, and he wasn't an ex. I don't even know the bar stranger. So, am I the asshole? No.
He sounds like the asshole.
I don't
He sounds insecure.
take in the free alcohol. Okay, I could be there with my husband and I'm taking the free drink. My husband would want me to take the free drink. Like, it's free alcohol. I don't know. Like, so let's see. I think there's an update.
I think the roles for me would be reversed. I think the roles for me would be reversed. Like if the shot was sent to me, I'm just like not a big shot taker. And I would be like, this is nice. You can leave it here. I don't feel like taking it. Do the cheers to the guy. And then my husband would probably take it and he would not even think anything of it. He probably would, if anything, be like, thanks, man, or whatever, if he happened to go by the guy.
Right. And I don't know. I feel like it's not that big of a deal. Like he didn't even go up to her, say anything. It's not like she went up to him and was like all over him for the rest of the night. And she just met this guy.
Do you think maybe he wasn't a drinker?
Maybe,
I mean, not saying that that's okay, but
maybe he wasn't a drinker. I feel like that still would be weird. Like okay, I don't know if this is like if this is a normal red flag, but I feel like that's a red flag for somebody to get so upset and so jealous, like right off the bat on a first date. You don't even know her, and she gets sent a free shot, and you're acting like she, pardon my language, fuck somebody in front of you. Like that's really fucking weird, in my opinion. I don't know, but for this post, it got like 19,000 upvotes for saying she's the asshole.
more than what people were saying, like she wasn't.
Yeah. So the top comment is, yes, the asshole. The guy at the bar didn't know if you were together or not, so he sent the drink to suss you out. You accept the drink, toast him over your date's shoulder. What do you think was going to happen next? Bar guy was absolutely going to come over to your table eventually and start trying to chat you up in the middle of your date. There was literally no other outcome after you essentially communicated you were open to his advances. You can be cute and say it isn't 1938 all you want, but social cues and etiquette didn't disappear with the second wave of feminism. You know the implications of your behavior and brushed off your date when he expressed how your actions made him feel. Yes, the asshole. Yeah, all of this is saying that she's being disrespectful, um, and that she's the asshole for doing this. Which, in a sense, like reading that, I do understand that her date was like, hey, I'm not comfortable with this. So maybe like if I was in that situation and the person I was with was like, I don't like this. I wouldn't take it, but then I wouldn't go out with him again because I think that's really weird.
Or I
I
would
don't
like
know.
dive into it more and be like, okay, I respect that. I won't drink. But why? Like, why? Is there something you need to tell me?
I don't know. Like I've dated people before where I'd go to a bar and like I got sent a free drink and the person that I was with was like, I don't give a fuck. Like you're coming home with me. You're getting free alcohol. It's making my tab cheaper.
They should be like, why the fuck didn't I get a free drink too?
I don't know. Everybody's saying she's the asshole. Are we assholes? Ask your husband. Be like, hey babe, if I was out of if we if we were out at a bar and a guy sent me a drink, would you let me drink it?
He would say no if I phrased it that way.
Oh,
Because then he would be like, if he poured it for you, he drugged it. Because he'd be paranoid. But
well, maybe.
if it was from like a waitress or bartender, then he would be like, I mean, it's up to you. I'm shocked that you took it knowing that you don't really like liquor.
That's valid. I don't know. Everybody's saying that she's the asshole. Maybe we're just assholes. On Reddit, he has 14,000 friends on Reddit. Yeah, someone else said sending someone a drink at a bar is flirting with them. Accepting the drink is flirting back and indicating you're open to continue to flirt. No, it's not.
Were they at a bar or a restaurant? That had
They were at a bar.
whatever. I mean, even more so than you're at a bar. Like, what the heck? I think it would be more weird if you're at a restaurant.
Also, I just want to add to the conversation. I know that we're like not agreeing with anybody on Reddit right now, but like even if you were single and you were there with your girlfriends and somebody sent you a drink, you don't owe them shit. You take that drink, you either drink it or you don't.
That doesn't mean that you're going home with them.
Yeah, I know. That's what they're acting like.
That's like they're paying for sex or something.
No.
That they're not going to agree on things. So,
Yeah, see, this comment says some guy sent a drink to my wife with me sitting with her. We both have our rings on and everything. I took the drink for her. Good ass fruity drink, too. And they weren't even together. It was a first date. It doesn't count. You're not together on a first date. You don't owe anybody any loyalty on a first date. That's my opinion. I
You know
don't.
what that makes me think? Maybe this is a reach, but maybe he thought he was going to get something that night.
Oh yeah.
And so he was like, somebody else is coming and like there's competition or something.
That's what I'm saying, like the red flag, how he got so jealous right away and so aggressive and pissed off. Like he thought that somebody was stealing his like piece of ass for the night.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna say you're not the asshole, even though a lot of people disagree with us. Um, I think that's really weird. And fuck, just weird. Okay, let's find another one. Everyone sucks. Everyone sucks.
Retweet.
Am I the asshole for serving my daughter garlic before her first date? What the fuck? Hold on.
It has healing properties.
Okay, so here's the next one. This one's really weird. It says, am I the asshole for serving my daughter garlic before her first date? Okay, on Saturday night, my 16-year-old daughter, Elle, had her first date with a boy that she really likes. They were going to see a movie at about 8 p.m., so she was still having dinner at home before going out. I cooked steak and potatoes for my children, but I decided I'd also put some garlics in the oven to caramelize as Elle loves roasted garlic. However, I was aware she probably wouldn't want them tonight if she planned on kissing the boy, and I thought I'd have a bit of fun with that as her dad. When I served up dinner, Elle rejected garlic as I expected she would. Innocently, I asked, Elle, you love roasted garlic. Why don't you want them tonight? She went very red in her face and I wouldn't tell me why. I asked once more. My wife told me to be quiet and that I was embarrassing her. I laughed and apologized to Elle, but also joked to my wife that I wouldn't want garlic breath when we first kissed either. My wife and Elle are both very mad at me right now. They think that I embarrassed her for no reason and was being cruel when no girl wants to bring up kissing with her dad, especially not garlic breath kissing. I was just having a little fun. Am I the asshole? This is so dumb.
I'm such a weird person. Maybe I'm like the exception. I did not care telling my dad I wanted to make out with someone.
I didn't either.
Oh my god. I still remember the first like my first kiss. I think I was in 7th grade and my parents both come and pick me up and I just like have the biggest smile on my face. The guy is like still in the front yard and we're like hanging out at my friend's house. I get into our minivan, did not realize the windows were down, and immediately was like, I got my first
Oh,
kiss.
that's so awkward.
My dad was just like,
Wait.
is that why you wanted to bring chapstick tonight?
Ew. Not chapstick, bro. No, I remember. Okay, so like my parents are like, they're like, I don't, I sometimes I have a hard time reading them because they're like super open and like we have always had open communication in the household. But like also randomly when I say something, sometimes I get really pissed. So they'll be like, why would you say that? So like I never know like what I can and cannot say. But my first kiss, I thought the guy was joking with me because like we were close friends beforehand. And he was like, can I kiss you? As he was like dropping me off at my house. And I was like, you're joking with me. And he's like, no, I'm not. And I threw my water bottle at his head, like as hard as I could. And I was 15 or 14 or 15. Huh? Physical assault. No, the worst part is I don't think he would ever listen to this but listen, Noonan's a small town. So RIP. But when after he kissed me, I just remember being so disgusted that I literally ran up to my shower, took a shower, and like scrubbed my mouth with soap and water. I was like, this is so gross. I don't like it. I didn't like him. And then I ended up dating him for like I ended up dating him for like 2 months because I was just like, okay, we kissed. Now we have to be boyfriend and girlfriend. And he was like, okay, we have to get married now. We're betrothed. We're growing up in a Christian household. Yeah, that was awful. But so the comments were interesting for this one. Um, You're the asshole. Way too passive aggressive. Wait, way to passive aggressively alienate your daughter. To add, don't expect your daughter to ever confide in you about anything personal. I just feel like it wasn't that deep. I,
Also, I feel like by him joking like that, even though she might have been embarrassed at the time, just how my mind works, if I were in that situation, I was the daughter, then I would be like, wait, my dad doesn't feel uncomfortable talking to me about things. Right. So if something ever came up in the future and I wanted to talk to him or my mom or whatever, then I wouldn't feel as awkward going to them.
that's to me it sounded playful. Like I get that maybe it was like going the extra mile to maybe cook the garlic. I don't know. Like I'm sure part of him was hoping that she would eat it and not kiss a boy because that's his daughter. But I also don't feel like that's weird. And I also don't feel like, I don't know, maybe we're going to sound like an asshole to everybody for this entire episode. I don't know. I just feel like maybe it was weird, but like I don't think that's going to stop. Like if my dad did that, I would just be like, you're being silly.
Yeah.
You're being
Also,
crazy.
what was her age, did he say?
There goes the makeup brush. She's 16. Oh, that's a little older.
Maybe. What if like someone said she had bad breath and that's why she'd never been kissed before? And so it was just triggering for her.
It's all the fucking roasted garlic her dad is feeding her. He said, I've actually been planning this for years. I don't.
Worked up until this
I know. It's just a bunch of like passive aggressiveness. I will admit, I used the whole you made sure your child will never have a relationship with you after 18. That's a bad word once, but it was with a very bad you're the asshole poster. OP was just being a hi hungry, I'm dad kind of dad in his mind. He kind of forced the joke, but as long as he apologizes, it's okay. That's what I think. It's like, it's a dad joke. He didn't force the garlic down her throat. It'd be different. It'd be like, you're going to eat this goddamn garlic before you leave the house. Like, imagine he was like, you ain't going nowhere till you eat this roasted garlic. Like, that would be one thing. But he didn't do that. He was like, haha, like, lol, like, it's fine. Like, it's not that deep, y'all. The internet needs to touch some fucking grass, I feel like sometimes.
maybe it was her Shark Week or something. Her period. Hormonal.
I've never heard that in my entire life. Yeah, a Shark Week? That makes sense. Maybe. I don't know. Everybody voted that he's the asshole, though. Did out of me. Okay. Do you want to pick the next one?
Oh.
Oh. Also, we're drinking Oza, their fizzy red sangria, and it's very fucking good. I don't even like sangria, and I think it's delicious. She's got it. Nicolette's gonna read the next one.
Am I the asshole for making a fetus joke on a first date?
Maybe.
Probably. Met some chick, we're going to say chick, on Tinder the other day and convinced her to go on a date with me. Bad start.
That sounds predatory as fuck. Somehow got this bitch to say yes. That never happens. That's so. He said, I never get anyone to say yes to me. This is a miracle.
Some chick.
Ew.
Okay. I am a stand up comedian in Los Angeles, so I charmed her into meeting me on a date. Is that what did it? We decided to meet up for dinner. From the get go, things are going smoothly. We were kind of vibing, and I could feel a connection. I made a couple nice zingers that really loosened up the mood. How old is this guy? Then somehow, we started talking about politics. I mean, come on, it's 2020 after all. For whatever reason, she asked me if I was pro choice or pro life, to which I responded, obviously pro choice. Otherwise, God only knows how many kids I'd already have running around. It's a corny joke. Sure, but she actually thought it was funny at the time. Reading the room, I kept it going and said, plus, without abortions, where else would I get all those fetuses to play with? All of a sudden, she got extremely tense and stared at her phone and said she had to leave. I told her I was just joking, but she wasn't having it. She got up, left, and then immediately blocked me on all messaging apps. I definitely don't think it was the best joke I've ever made, but isn't that a bit of an overreaction, especially considering that she laughed at my first joke? Even if it wasn't funny, I don't think it was fair to completely ghost me like that. And they voted he was not the asshole. I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
What? What is going on with Reddit? What the fuck is wrong with y'all? So my immediate reaction, if I was on a first date with a man and he made that joke, I'd be like, okay, dark humor. And then he said, where else would I get the fetuses to play with? I'd be like, you're fucking weird.
That's not ever funny. So maybe you should quit your job.
He said, actually, it's not funny to joke about dead babies. Like, the fuck? Like, I don't even know if I can say that on Spotify, but I don't. This one's got me stumped. And also, not to talk about his demeanor in the beginning of like, I finally got some chick to go out with me, and I'm a stand up comedian, and I charmed her. Like, first of all, babe, every man with a striped button down shirt thinks he's a stand up comedian, okay? You're not. Like, we don't know what that means. We don't know if that's like you in your mom's basement, performing for yourself. We don't know if that means you actually go to, like, that doesn't mean anything. And his whole phrasing was weird.
Maybe it was a bit that he was testing out on his date. And then he's like, all right, nailed it. And then he went.
He was like, I'm actually gonna try this out on my date, and if it goes well, it goes well. If not, it's still going. He said, guess that one didn't do too well. Imagine though. He's like, the bitch blocked me. I talked about dead babies and the bitch blocked me. That chick. How up this poor woman. And not to mention, as weird as this conversation was that he described, I bet there was a lot more weird shit that added up to that, to just blocking him, because there's no way that comment alone got him blocked. His whole demeanor, even the joke itself, he had to be a weird dude. I'm sorry.
What if she only laughed the first joke because she was already scared?
No, I've done that before. I've been on a date with someone so fucking weird that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make it out alive. Like, I'm gonna live. We're gonna get through this dinner. We're gonna get through this drink, and I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna block you. What? so So this one was voted the asshole, obviously. It says, what was the joke part? How does one play with an aborted fetus, even ironically? She wasn't tense. She just had it. If this is true, which I seriously doubt, she didn't ghost you. She didn't ghost you. She ended the date. That out. It's like, what the fuck? Oh my God. We're not going to read these comments on this thread, but this thread is, I don't know if it's real or not. If I'm assuming it is, the comments are very unhinged. The general consensus is he's the asshole and he's probably really weird and he probably left a lot of details out from the state. That's my personal opinion, and I think he's a weirdo for making that joke. Um I'm not going to be linking this thread in the the description because it's really weird. Um so yeah, we're going to move on to the last one. That was so weird. Okay. Okay, so last one. Am I the asshole for calling a girl who said she doesn't pay for first dates because she is a traditional, that's in quotation marks, traditional hypocrite? As a disclaimer, I live in a pretty liberal area and most of my friends are pretty liberal. I was at a party and I got into a conversation with this group of people I know fairly well. One girl, Emily, was talking about her last date and how she never knows whether to insist on splitting the bill or let the guy pay and how it's sometimes awkward. I said it was 2020, and although I don't mind paying for first dates, the expectation that guys should always pay is stupid and regressive. Then this girl, Jessica, interrupted and declared that she's never paid for a first date and she was raised traditional And her dad always told her that if a guy is really serious about a girl, he'll insist on paying for the date. So I kind of think this was backwards thinking, especially since she had a really good job. She's a pharmacist. Um, I told her this in a joking manner. She just shrugged and said her parents raised her to care about education and to look after herself, but they still had old fashioned values, and that fortunately, her boyfriend had the same values. So that's all fine, but since we were having a conversation, I told her she was a bit of a hypocrite talking about being a traditional and having old fashioned values when she's biracial. Her dad is black and her mom is white, and in the old fashioned days they wouldn't have been allowed to get married, and that her and her boyfriend probably wouldn't even be allowed to be together. Her boyfriend is Egyptian. She became visibly angry at me and accused me of being a subtle racist in front of everyone, which I think is a little ridiculous. I was just pointing out the contradiction in being old fashioned in one sense but not in another. I told her this, and she became more irate and said that she shouldn't have to lower her standards because she's black, and that her boyfriend is fine with it, so I should leave her alone. I did drop it, but later I heard from mutual friends that she was pissed at me who was telling people that I was a jerk. Her boyfriend, who I'm also friends with, texted me later saying that what I said wasn't cool, and I should apologize to her. He did not care about my explanation. Am I the asshole here? She literally is the one who brought up the topic, and now she's acting incredibly butthurt. I just don't understand how the conversation got to race. I'm gonna say you're the asshole before we read the comments. I'm gonna say that it's really weird that race got brought up in like the middle of that. Like, why'd you have to bring your parents into it? Like, I don't know. I think
I don't I don't even know how to like word this. I don't think that the two have to be correlated to each other. There were people, biracial couples together years and years ago, even when it was frowned upon or not legal, and they may still have had traditional values. I think the values that she's talking about aligns more with like maybe like beliefs or morals, maybe. I don't know if that's 100% accurate.
yeah, I think it was more. I mean, they were talking about a first date and who should pay. So like I have opinions on that that I don't really. But like if I was talking to like a group of people and the topic was like who should pay on a first date, and I think that the man should pay on the first date, and somebody was like, you had a kid with a white guy, like okay, like who was talking about that? Nobody was talking about that, babe. That is subtle racism. It's like an excuse to bring up the topic. I don't know. That's just weird to me. I don't know.
Think of like what something would be of equivalent.
It's just like, why did you bring that up? Like, it's like you're waiting for an opportunity to equivalent anything to like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. So, some of the comments, let's see. It says, yes, you're the asshole. Holding traditional values does not automatically equate to holding old school racist beliefs. A person can be forward thinking, progressive person and still believe in things like getting married before having kids or having a man pay the first date. You don't have to agree to her, but jumping to a racially charged argument when it wasn't one in the first place makes you the asshole.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just like weird. It's whenever like people bring race up in a way that it doesn't need to be brought up, it makes me think like, okay, you were waiting for somebody to bring up a controversial topic so that you can like talk about your racism. Like it's so weird. I don't know. I don't understand why that was part of the conversation when like she was talking like I get it, like old school beliefs. Okay, well like racism, like that's not the same thing. That's not babe. Like I don't know. And then calling her out for like dating somebody who's Egyptian, like it's like you're waiting for the moment to say something about it. It feels racist in my
Like, what
opinion.
point was he trying to make that, like, either she needs to believe that the guy should pay for the first date, but then also be racist, or
Like she'd be like, "You're right. My parents should get a divorce." Like, mom, sorry, you and dad can't be together. My friend said that it's not traditional. Like, I don't like what was the point of that? I don't know. Um, no point was made. You're the asshole. He did have an updated comment. He said, edit, LOL. Okay, I get it. I'm the asshole. I'm gonna apologize to her.
You're gonna just say Reddit told
I'd be like, so I went to Reddit and it kind of picked up speed, and everybody thinks I'm a dick. So I kind of need us to make up now. I'm not racist, but I do still think that your parents should not be together and you should never have been born.
or or he's like, I'm not racist, but also I think women should pay for all the first dates.
Yeah, it sounds like he's kind of pissed that.
Insecure and too broke.
Yeah, it kind of just sounds like a man that's tired of paying for first dates. And if that's, I mean, like everybody's like able to have their own opinion. And if you don't want to pay for a first date, there's women out there that want to pay for the first date. But like, I feel like you need to get a handle on that aggression. like, like he sounds upset about something that doesn't need to be an issue, if that makes sense.
Interesting. It just, why were you even having that conversation with her? It would be different if he was having that conversation with someone he was going on a first date with.
That's what I'm saying. It made like in context, it made no sense. It makes no sense. That's why I was like, he was waiting for something. Do you think so? We're in an Airbnb. This is so random. We're in an Airbnb right now, but it's like we thought we'd have the entire house to ourselves, but it's like a what is it called?
A duplex.
Yeah. So we're in a duplex, and like our neighbors are having a better night than we are. To be honest, they're breaking down this wall right now. Maybe they can hear the podcast. If you, it's aggressive. Like
Just insert some background sounds
just
when you edit
violent
this.
background sound so you can experience. We're just trying to enjoy. We're gonna watch the show after this. We're just gonna try to enjoy. All we hear is like boom.
Nothing. Keep, like, my ADHD has really come out while you're reading stuff. I like look up at the TV and it has some PowerPoint thing going on or something. Or I hear noises and I just like keep looking off. And people are like, what is she on?
Editing is just gonna be her eyes going like. Be like, I don't know if they're the asshole or not. I truly was not listening. I'm actually that.
That's why I keep voting wrong.
She said, I'm just going by what you're saying. Like, I'm just agreeing with you truly. It's so sad for when they started doing it. They're like, actually, could you speak up a little louder? We can't hear the whole story. Oh my God, do you guys want to be on the podcast whenever you get done? Whenever you. I feel like we're losing any type of like momentum here. So I am going to read off some of the horrible first date stories that you guys sent me because I think they're really funny. And somebody sent me a video, so I'm actually gonna play that. I hope they don't mind. You sent it to me, so here it is.
No loyalty.
No loyalty. I love y'all, but if you're gonna send me something, just know it could be on here, and that's on you. So
It was sent by full government name.
full government. Profile picture edited. Actually, that is my notification. Full profile picture right here, your email address, everything. So somebody said, I went on a date with a man who made me wait while he helped his cat use the bathroom. What is that?
Don't do this. I'm gonna drop the panties.
I said, what the fuck does that even mean? I'm gonna ask her. I'm gonna be like, I just need more details. Like,
I know exactly what she means.
what?
Maybe. I mean, one of the millions of cats we've had.
They literally, it's not a joke. They have so many cats.
I had to help him go to the bathroom and he literally couldn't. I had to take him to the vet and he had to have emergency surgery.
So, I'm so sorry, but like, what does that mean?
I can't put his business out there.
It's actually really private for George. He's actually really self-conscious about it. So truthfully, I would not go on a second date.
I actually married that man.
They are a love story. I just love the way he cared about his cat. If he can help his cat use the restroom, he can help me use the restroom when I'm old. I mean, that's a positive way of looking at it. I actually know the person that sent that message in, so I know she did not end up with that man. But that's definitely a
Probably for the
I
best.
probably,
She might have ended up with 21 cats.
it's probably for the best, babe. It's gonna love that man. Like truthfully, so good for that man that he loves his cat like that. Um, I just feel like
Wait, what does she mean by help? Now I'm like thinking help like how a mama cat helps a kitten.
I don't know.
I don't go that far.
I don't. I just feel like if you knew that you need to take care of that you would do it before your date got there, right? Like you would make sure that you did what you
Yeah,
needed
but
to do.
also cats, like, you're on their schedule.
Okay, so one of the other ones was went bowling with this dude and there was no chemistry. Even worse, when it was obvious, he still tried to kiss me afterwards.
Okay, wait, say it again. What?
It said, went bowling with this dude and there was no chemistry. Even worse, he still tried to kiss me afterwards.
I think the first mistake was going bowling.
The first mistake was going bowling. That's actually happened to me before. I went on a date with this dude. I think I talked about it on TikTok like a while ago, but it was just obviously no chemistry. And then it was like painfully awkward. Like
I just
painfully.
I just imagine like that would not be a fun first date because if it's just you two, one of you is always bowling. How are you talking to each other?
It's like good game, good game, good game. I just feel like bowling is like an in a relationship activity. Like or a group activity where there's like where you can talk to each other. That's actually a really good point.
So like they're walking back and they're like, "Did you see that?" Yep. And then they just go up there and then the game's over and he's just like, "That was magical." And then tries to kiss her.
No, when you put it that way though, that makes it so much worse. Now I feel actually like, nah, that's bad. I don't I just feel like people should know when to kiss somebody or not, or like going for the kiss, right?
Yeah. You would think. But also practice makes perfect, so there's going to be some fails out there.
I just it's so bad. I'm gonna play the video to close the podcast out before we lose our minds any more than we already have.
The location. He didn't get up from his seat. Like he was at a picnic table. He didn't get up. So I just went and sat there. And then he proceeded to talk about how much he hated Christmas, which was, it doesn't have to be a red flag, but it kind of was. And then he fell in a river and I started laughing and he got really offended by it. And as he was trying to get his boots back on, I came up with a way to have a way to get out of there. I don't know how I lasted 4 hours, but I did. He wanted to have dinner after. I wasn't feeling it. He did make me lunch, which was nice, but it had all the ingredients of things I don't like, so I just tried to eat it. But yeah, he just didn't get it from the table, and I thought it was the most awkward thing ever.
It is so out of pocket. I can't. It was like every time you thought it got worse, it got worse.
The whole time she's sitting at the wrong table.
She's like, it's just some random guy. And my favorite part was like he wanted to make me dinner, but he didn't have anything that I liked, so I just went home.
I actually was allergic to all of it.
No, because and also he didn't like Christmas. He's like, she said, I think that's a red flag to me. I don't know if you do. I'd be like, that's fucking weird. Why don't you?
Christmas. Even the Grinch ends up lighting Christmas.
I can't. That was my favorite video response that I've ever gotten from. It's literally, it just reminded me of that TikTok song. Do you know the TikTok song where it's like every time it got worse, it got worse. Like, and it lasted 4 hours.
And they, oh wait, so they did eat at the picnic table.
Yeah, before he fell in the river.
Wait, he fell. Did he fall in the river with her?
No, he fell in the river and then she laughed because obviously that's funny.
while they were together because he never got up from the picnic table.
No, it did. Like he fell in the river, and then she laughed because honestly, that'd be so funny. And then he got offended that she laughed that he fell in the river at like the little nature resort they were at.
Okay. Wear some better hiking shoes, I guess. Nice. His shoes came off
I
when he
don't-
fell?
I don't-
She said he had to put his shoes on.
Oh, I guess his shoes fell off, or maybe he took his shoes off before he got in the river.
That's your freaking problem.
He said, I just
Naked and angry? Like instead of naked and afraid, he's like,
this bitch laughed at me when I fell in the river. Like, why were you in the river? Like, why were you in the river to begin with? Like, you were going on a picnic. Ain't nobody asked you to do that. Like,
his Pocahontas moment, like, just.
there. Okay, but anyways, that was this week's podcast. It was a little hectic, but that's okay. It's fun to not have an agenda. I feel like that word's so scary.
So great. You don't have to leave this in here, but if anyone ends things in awkward terms with somebody, but it's not awkward enough that they can't reach out to them again, so they tell us their side first, and then they get the other person to tell you their side.
Yes. Do you all hear that? Do you have an ex that you have beef with? Are y'all still low key friends? Send your story into me, and then ask them for them to send a story, and then we'll do a huddle on the podcast, and I'll be the mediator. That is a great idea. I'd pay someone to do that with their ex on the podcast. Okay, y'all. That's all we have for this week's episode. We're gonna log off and drink some more and watch some TV and hopefully get up in time tomorrow for the concert. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And have a great weekend. Okay.